Hello friends, Christian here with Brick Life Crisis again. Today we're taking a look at LEGO Studios set number 1352. This is Explosion Studio. This set came out originally in 2001. It consists of about 233 pieces, including 4 minifigures, one of whom is Steven Spielberg. Alright, let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. And here we have our completed build of the Explosion Studio. As I said, we've got 4 minifigures along with the Explosion Studio, which as you can see looks like a facade of the front of a bank. There's a little 3-wheeled motorcycle there with a stuntman on it. And we have a couple of studio lights, a couple of cameras, a director. Let's go ahead and take a look at all these pieces a little more closely. Alright, first of all we have our camera operator. And he's on a little, I don't know if you call it a vehicle, but it's a wheeled camera mount, kind of a dolly situation, I guess, and it can rotate 360 degrees. And here's the Cameraman minifigure. He is exactly the same, as far as I can tell, as the figure that came with set number 1357. He's got his lanyard with his ID badge. There's the movie company logo there with the camera emblazoned on it. Looks like he's got a pen in his pocket. Blue hat, blue pants, just a cameraman on a clapboard printed on the back. You can see he's got some spectacles raised up above his eyes and some kind of interesting sideburns. This is his rig. Kind of reminds me of the Mighty Micros from the Superheroes line. But basically we have a little seat here, and this can rotate. The camera is a brick-built thing, and that is the camera. And then attached to it are 2 white studs up on the top, which are supposed to represent the film reels. And you have the joystick piece that attaches there that is a viewfinder, and then there's just a single square stud, 1x1 black stud that acts as a lens hood. But the kind of interesting thing here, this is a film camera, but they give you a videotape to put inside, so that's a little bit awkward. This is our actor slash stuntman, and he's riding a 3-wheeled ATV. He's got a pistol in his hand, and as you can see there's a briefcase on the back of the motorcycle, presumably full of something that he stole from this bank. Let's go ahead and take a little bit closer look at the minifigure. And here's our stuntman. As you can see, he's got a revolver in his hand. He's got a helmet on. The visor can pop up. We can take the helmet off to reveal he's got some red hair and some scruffy beard going on. And then he's got kind of a fire retardant suit, gray gloves, no print on the back, no alternate face. But this guy is ready to take on the explosion that we'll look at in just a moment. Our stuntman's ATV is a fairly basic build. There's nothing special about this necessarily. It's basically a one-piece. The red and the gray were pre-assembled. You just add the forks onto the front, add a headlight, 3 wheels, a tail light, and then the back for the backrest kind of thing. And that's about it. The minifigure just kind of sits like that, and he's ready to go. Next up we have the security guard, and he could either be bank security or studio security depending on how you want to play it. He's got a walkie-talkie, sunglasses, nice vest print, and a black ball cap. There's no print on the back, no print on the legs, but overall not a bad figure. Our last figure is the director, and as you can see he's got a printed clapboard and the title director printed on the back. He's carrying a megaphone, wearing black pants and a black cap. And as we see here from the front view, this is Steven Spielberg. Glasses, beard, the whole bit. He's wearing a nice vest with his ID badge, and he is directing this feature extravaganza. And yeah, this figure and actually this series of sets was actually endorsed by Steven Spielberg. So this is the man in the flesh, or in the brick, as it were. There are 2 studio lights included with this set, and they each have this kind of barn door configuration, but it is incomplete in comparison to a real camera, which would also have the same sort of flaps on either side, and that way you can open or close to affect the spread of light. It's a very simple build. We just have a 2x2 circular brick with a couple of hinge pieces, and then there's a metallic radar dish and a trans greenish yellow light element there. Then the clip is attached to the bottom of the modified plate for the barn door. Then there's just a single stud on this rod piece that attaches to the bottom. It's actually one piece, the rod and this 2x2, and then that just attaches to the middle of this plate, 4x4 plate. So anyway, there are 2 of those lights in this set. This is the main build of the set. We have a director's chair here. We have a monitor and a lever for an action feature that we'll look at in a moment. Over here we have a plunger and some dynamite, which for pretend will activate the action feature. The facade of a bank with the clock on the top and these nice pillars. And there is a secondary remote camera on the top there, again with a videotape and film. That little red light I think is supposed to be a remote indicator. As we turn it around to the back, you can see there is some kind of a console down there with that's a printed piece, and then we also have this safe that has $sign on it, and inside that we have some gold coins. You'll notice that the build, especially on the floor, is a little bit awkward, and that is specifically because it is a movie set. It's not a real building that we're looking at here. Up on top there is a little box with some money in it, and then there's another view of that camera, and you can see some red work lights, caution lights. There's a pulley system. You can see there's a string going across that actually goes underneath over here. And the idea is that this building will explode on cue when you're ready. And to do that, you hit the lever. So let's see how this works. I have not tried this yet. So when we pop that, the building explodes. It works as directed. You can see the money flew, the building fell down, and in theory, our bad guy gets away. There is a secondary action feature as well. Basically, we just have a little plate that the stuntman can stand on, and if you hit the trigger again, he goes flying. So the way this works, we have this trigger over here, and as you can see, there is a rope going underneath that pulley back there, underneath the set, to this set of exploding triggers, and then the rope attaches to the bottom there. So when you hit the trigger, it pulls up and releases these things, and they're just basically spring-loaded Technic pieces, and to reset it, you just push them back, and they just kind of rest in there until they are hit with that force of the rope being pulled up, and that releases enough force to knock over either the stuntman on that plate or the entire building, depending on what scene you want to shoot. So in order to get that somewhat spectacular explosion, the floor of the bank again, is not much of a floor. It's a movie set in theory, so there's not a whole lot of detail, but this just kind of rests like that. And then you have some window pieces with caution tape on the top that go on either side. Your door goes in the middle, and then you have two more windows that make up the sides of the building, and then your columns just line up in the front, and then you take your roof piece, gently rest it on top, and that's your building. And again, hit the trigger, it all goes up in smoke. This set includes the 4 minifigures that we talked about. We've got a couple of lights, a couple of cameras, and then that special rig with the action features. One with the exploding building and one that sends the stuntman flying. Came with a few dollars that go flying, as well as the safe. And yeah, that about does it for this. Not bad. This set came out in 2001, so it's been around for quite a while now. It's fun to get my hands on it. I didn't have this one originally. I had some of the other studio sets, but this one's new. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave us a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below. And until next time, keep on building. Bye for now.